Hey, what's happening, fellow van builders? It's Scott. Welcome back to Vandingo. For those of you that saw my YouTube short about the Flatline Van Company rear door panel, it's here. I apologize that I wasn't able to get this video up and loaded in a more quick fashion, but I got to tell you, I made a mistake in the ordering. So maybe a little bit of a ready, fire, aim moment. So I ordered the panel, and I'll show you this here in a minute. Got the parts in. The one thing I didn't really look at closely enough was the hinges on my Sprinter van are the 180-degree hinges. This panel doesn't work on those hinges. And so it was important to get the appropriate hinges in, which took some time. I had to go back into Flatline Van Company's very well-run website, select the appropriate hinges and get them in. So today's video is we're going to take these new hinges and put them on the door, on the rear passenger side rear door, and then we're going to attach this panel to those new hinges. So the one thing that's important is don't throw away this template when it comes into the box, because it comes in the box with all of these materials, because this is the logo, Mercedes-Benz logo on the back of the vehicle. So it nicely abuts to that, and then this is the hole that you're going to drill through. That's the attachment point for the rear door panel. So all the parts and pieces came in. This, I could have easily tossed this out because this is kind of just wrapped in the packing paper. Box came with all the materials, and then this is the new hinges. Haven't opened them yet. Oh wow, didn't expect that. A little Flatline Van Company hat, that's cool. And then wrapped in some foam are the hinges. So there's one. And there's the other one. Ready to go. This looks like the bottom hinge because it's got the bumper piece there. All right, so two hinges ready to go. Let's get after it. All right, so these are the 180-degree hinges right here. And essentially, there's two hinge points, right? There's a hinge point right here, and there's a hinge point right here that allows it to rotate twice. This is the replacement hinge that only has one rotation point. So this is going to go in, and it's interesting, see those two holes there, that there's additional hardware that goes in there that allows you to mount the rear panel up. Now, if you look at the 180-degree hinges, there's really no way you could mount a panel there because this additional hinge piece is in there, allowing it to hinge twice, coming all the way around until you hit this bumper up against the door of the van. It'll swing all the way around. Well, it won't swing all the way around, but it'll swing, you know, what they call as 180. So this is the more robust, larger size hinge is the bottom hinge, and that's the smaller hinge, and it's 180. And again, you can tell because it's got two hinge points plus this bar right here, right? So you're looking at your hinges, you'll be able to see the difference, right? And just for comparison purposes, because I think this might be helpful, there is the upper hinge, and here is the 90-degree hinge. Here again are those two holes, which are attachment points for something you could attach to the hinge itself, right? So it's just going to go in there as a replacement for that unit. I really like these hinges. These are great, but they just don't function well to put something on those hinges and attach it from an equipment panel perspective. And here again, this is probably another good visual. So you can see it's pivoting here, it's pivoting here, it's pivoting here. but your hinge attachments points are here and here. So again, if you look at this as the replacement, you're only going to have one pivot right here. So it won't open as far, but it'll allow you to bolt up the equipment panel. Okay, let's talk about the tools you're going to need for this job, and there really aren't, it's not that complicated. You can see you got a bolt here. You got one of the Torx fitting, that's a head nut, and then a screw, Torx screw here, two of these, right? So this is a 17 millimeter. These two here are T45 Torx screw heads. You can see this goes in there very nicely. So that fits. That's the T45. And then this is a screw head that's a 12, size 12 millimeter. So that's what you need, along with obviously a wrench to connect it to. Now, one of the things that's recommended is that this is a bit dirty here. I'm going to clean all this off because tracing a line along this area here, just in a Sharpie, tracing a line here will help you probably align better when you put the new hinge back on here. You can sort of place it on those same lines and help you with some sight lines. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna clean that up, both top and bottom, and I'm gonna get the Sharpie out and trace the line along here, just so I use that as my sort of my guidepost when I put the new hinges on. The other thing you're gonna need to do for sure is get some help. So the obvious reason for that help is because when you detach this top one, which is what you're supposed to do first, you're gonna need somebody to help hold that door. In the past, when I put the rear spare tire carrier on, I actually propped the door up. I had the right height supports to put on the door underneath from the ground up. So you could either do that, or you can get somebody with an extra pair of hands to hang onto the door for you. All right, just quick and easy for me. I'm using the Chemical Guys. I'm no support of any kind out of them, but I happen to like their products. You can get them just about anywhere. In this case, just a glass cleaner because there's nothing really greasy here. So I'm just gonna take one of these nylon rags, spray it up, and clean this off as best as possible so I can see the Sharpie mark once I get it on there. Same on this side. And then I'm going to clean the bottom one off as well. Get your standard Sharpie. And I'm just going to, now nobody from the outside is going to see these marks, so I'm just going to trace along here. There. And the whole point of that is to make sure when you put this one on, you're in a roundabout right area. Even though this mount I can see right now is not shaped the same way. So hopefully that'll get us close. I just looked at that and I went, oh my God. See, because those are spread a lot further apart. Those are the ones that go on the door here, actually like that. Had it backwards. All right, I'm gonna take the sombrero off on this one because I think I'm gonna block the camera, but let's do the same thing here. Not sure I need to go down this. There. And I'm gonna also do this one, and in this case, I just need the lower line here, I think, and the upper line. That's good. All right, so in addition to the hinges, we got to get this panel off. Right now, I've got insulation behind this panel, not knowing I was going to need to get in here and have a a screw fixed, a bolt that would hold this equipment panel. So I've shown this on previous videos that I have on the channel. This is from Amazon. It's an interior kit for automotive, and it's got just about everything you could possibly need. And what we're looking for is, probably this one to get up under here and pop these. So we're going to pop these out and get access. There we go. All right, I'm going to try to show you a close-up here so you can see, at least on the Sprinter van, there's like a gap here in the plastic and a gap there in the plastic. So I'm going to get this up under there and then slide this all the way in, if I can, like that. And then push it out, and then this should just easily pop out. And again, these are easily broken. So it's convenient not to break them, obviously, but if you have to replace them, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, but I think if you go to the specialty aisle at Lowe's and look for automotive fasteners, you might find this there. So let's see, we got a few more of these to do. Nice pop, out she comes. So yeah, popped all of those off, those grommet holders, and that's a bit of a lifesaver. This whole kit was like, I think it was under 25 bucks off of Amazon. I'll try to put one in the link below. And then, let's see if we can get this off here without screwing it up. There we go. Panel off. And as I said, and I think I shared it in a previous video, I put all the insulation in here. So where this is going to go is like right in there. So I don't think I glued that in. Let's see. I didn't. Good. Excellent. I can stuff that back in there. It goes right, that screw for this panel goes right in there. So we're going to do some drilling right down in there, as I said earlier. I'm going to try to get some blue painter's tape in there. It's going to be a little bit challenging to pull off, but I've worked really hard to try to not have metal shavings all over the place in the van. And you know, if you drill up here, and you may not see any when you're done drilling, but they will have dropped down behind things and they start the rust process. So I'm going to get some painter's tape in there that I can pull back out again, that hopefully will carry all the shavings. So I'm going to go grab that. Little platform. This isn't going to go here. This is going to hopefully go inside if I don't screw it up. All right, so let's pull this off now. I got myself a platform of tape. Okay, let's see. like this. But there is a little bed of tape just below where I'm going to do the drilling. And hopefully that'll catch all of the shavings of metal that fly off when you put a hole through sheet metal. We'll see. We shall see what happens. Next step of the process is to take this template, make sure the lines on the sheet metal on top, lines on the side here, and it touches the very edge of the sheet metal. You don't want to push it in further than that. That's what the template is about, to get your line correct, or to get your measurement location correct. And that looks good to me. All right, I think that's it. Okay, so this may be crazy getting ready to happen. That's the Milwaukee Packout tool box system, and I had the right size there of my mix to prop up the door. Maybe a one-person job here. I'm going to start with that upper hinge and see whether or not we can pull this off. Here we go. I'm going to sort of hang on to this door here. I'm just backing that screw out, hand loosening it. Okay. And we'll go up and over. And there is the removed hinge. That's the hinge that articulates big time all the way around to the side of the door. And now, let's put in the hinge that I dropped and made a disaster of. I'll probably touch that up with some black paint. Nice work on my part. Okay, here's the outside. Obviously, not quite fully attached. I'm gonna adjust these and sort of maneuver them around the two bolts inside of here. So the directions said do the top one first and then do the bottom one second. So it's interesting to me that this is requiring a little bit of torquing back and forth. So far, it's okay. I don't see any big issues. But it's not quite as smooth and easy as what I expected, which I guess is always the case. Okay, so I was able to connect this bolt and push this door far enough out that direction to put the top hinge in. However, the only way to do it was to loosen these two bolts so this door could pivot. And the way it was bolted up from the factory, to get this on, the door wouldn't pivot out. I was pushing out on it more than I wanted to get these to line up and screw in. And just by loosening these up, without letting them completely go loose, right? Just loosen up enough to move, I was able to get the movement necessary to do this. So that was a good tip, something good to learn. So the other piece of information I think is helpful is the tracing lines are slightly larger than this bracket. So I'm doing my best to sort of center this inside the tracing lines as even as possible. I'm going to crank this down and then tighten these two down. Not all the way though, because the bottom bracket's next. So again, these are tight. These are just slightly loose. They're a little bit more than slightly loose. I'm going to bring those closer in to the metal. You can see that there. But not crank them all the way down. All right. Kind of curious whether or not this door. That's the new hinge. That's the super articulating hinge it comes with. And it looks like it's still gonna strike and hit the appropriate spot, so that's good. So it's gonna be tough to keep the camera on this based on the angle. I hate to say that, but I'm gonna start loosening these. I think I'll start here. And it doesn't take much. I mean, they're pretty precise and well constructed connections, well engineered. I'm using the prop method. You can see it's sitting there, the door's there, so the top hinge has got it, and I've got the outer edge of the door propped up on the Milwaukee Packout system that I have. So that's helping. Let's see if I can get a wrench in here to do this. A little inconvenient having to hand crank this, but not bad. It's loose enough that it's not causing too much in the way of a problem. Let's get a little weight on that hinge now. Yeah, the hinge is very loose. And unfortunately, can't get the ratchet head in there. Okay. The whole hinge is loose, but she doesn't want to let go. Wow, that sucker did not want to move, budge, articulate. That's interesting. Why is that? Just needs the weight of the door, I guess. All right. So I'm going to try it this way this time. I'm going to put this on first. Now theoretically, I'm going to pivot this door off of this Milwaukee Packout I've got it rested on, move it in, and it should come over and match just like that. Okay. All right. Let's see if these babies give me any trouble. I will tell you, using the Milwaukee Packout is like only when you gotta do it, would be my advice. It really feels like inside here there's a spring mechanism of some sort. I don't know what that bracket looks like inside the sheet metal, but it really feels interesting when they're putting a screw into it. I'm really interested in getting these tight and then messing with these in terms of adjustment, if adjustment is even going to be needed. Okay, we got the changed hinges on there. Need to tighten these two down. They're not tight yet. I'm going to check tightness on everything. think what I want to do is push this bottom hinge that direction a little bit more, because it seems like it's binding a bit when I close it. So I'm going to push that hinge out slightly. Okay, we need a little looser. There we go. I don't think it can go up. No. No, it can't go up. There's no movement up. But there is movement out to the side, which is interesting. And you can twist it. So let's put it right there. Let's see if that helped. Oops, let's get this Packout out of the way. Okay, so here's the deal. FYI, another tip. This plate, this is the original hinge, right? This piece of it goes up against here, just like that piece. This piece of metal is larger by, I don't know, millimeters than this piece. So if you try to get your line, if you try to get this piece right up to the line like this was when you originally put the outline there, it's going to be off, slightly off, in my humble opinion. So I have loosened this side, twisted it using the help of, once again, the Milwaukee Packout. And I'll put that in my links below in the video so you can just see what I'm talking about. Now I am going to cinch this baby down. Sorry, it's a tough one for you guys to see, but I'm doing my best to give you the view. That one's tight. That's good. That's good. That's tight. Don't want to over crank it. As a kid, I used to over crank bolts when I was doing engine work or brake work or whatnot. Man, the last thing you want to do is snap the head off, which I've done that before. Okay, let's loosen up the Milwaukee Packout. Turned out to be a little bit of a bonus height on that thing, which is good. Get this out of the way. Let's see. Alignment looks pretty good. Check the line of this door and onto this door, and then check your line going up. All right, guys, next step in the process is we need to drill out this hole, which is going to hold the carriage bolt that goes on the outside and holds the rear equipment panel to the wall. So I'm going to run a pilot hole to start. And the size, this is 3/8. The size is actually 25/64, which is slightly bigger than 3/8. So we're going to see how we do. I have a step bit if necessary. So you can see that it's literally 2 pieces of metal in there. So it's two pieces of sheet metal, in other words. All right, so let's get the carriage bolt and see if this carriage bolt fits. And it does. All right, folks, I'm going to tell you, the videos I've seen where they've done this work, nobody's cleared out these burrs or painted in here. And I'd suggest you do that because this is a source of rust, right? We've said that already. So I use a Q-tip and just some, like, you know, Krylon paint that is rust inhibiting paint. So I'm going to deburr all of this, and then I'm going to paint it. Then we'll go on to the next step. All right, there's the Krylon paint I'm going to use. This is a protective high gloss enamel, and it's a rust inhibitor. This is just a deburring tool to take the burrs off the metal, smooth it out. And I got that tape moat inside, so hopefully that's catching all those metal pieces. And then for me, I'm not too terribly concerned about painting a little bit around here because there's going to be a block over it. So I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. It's a little windy today. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard and hold it over the top here so I don't shoot anything, and I'm going to just put a little shoot of paint in there once I get this all nice and ready to go. All right, let's get a little wind capture in here. Get the drip. All right. That's good. And we need to take one shot of the inside. There is the tape moat down there, if you can see it. It's got some pieces of metal on there. And I'm going to shoot some paint right in there. It's going to be tough for y'all to see, but plan is not to get too crazy here. Okay, got a bit of a drip going in there, but that's okay. Nothing I can't fix with a little bit of a rag. And my rag, pull out my tape moat. So these are some specialized insulation scissors my daughter purchased, thank you, daughter, for her van build when she did it during COVID. And they're just a lot sharper. And that gets a bunch of that metal out of there that dropped in the insulation. All right, so I think we've given it a decent amount of time to dry. Now, the next big gamble is see if we can hang this thing on our own. This plate's for the bottom, and it's the angle piece that points down, and that's going to go right in there. So the bolt will go in there with one washer, so a washer on this side and then the bolt head, and then you're going to put a washer on the other side and the nut, and to cinch it down. So that's going in there like that. And just like there's a plate for that one, there's a plate for this one, but this one has to fit just like this in there. Okay. So absolutely crazy, but the hole matched up once I lifted the whole thing up and got the hole to align. So I got some more straightening to do there. I didn't tighten it all the way. More straightening to do there on that hinge, straightening and tightening. But first, I want to get the bolt going on this one, because that one was really tricky when you're doing it solo. And I'm going to start with the washer. Hopefully I don't drop it. Keep my hand on that carriage bolt. Okay. It feels like that's on. The directions say wrist tight. Don't crank it. And for me, sorry for the big sombrero hat, but it's the only thing that works when it's hotter than the devil in Texas. All right, that looks good. I can see the tail light. I can see the obviously blinker in there and the backup light. So it doesn't look like I'm going to need to push them over at all. And it looks to me like it's kind of turned this way a little bit. So I may be able to take that top hinge and push it that way a little bit. But my center carriage bolt is already wrist tight down, so it may not move. But let me see if I can get some progress on that. Yeah, I'm not sure I made much progress moving it that way, but I could open it back up. I can see the channel where the carriage nut is has got some room to slide this thing this way. So I could come back later and loosen this up, loosen this up, loosen that up, push this out and get it a little bit further in alignment. I may do that at some point. Yeah, that baby's on there. That thing's on there. All right, gang, thanks for sticking with me. That's the Flatline Van Company rear door panel on the passenger side. I think it would have been a much easier install if I had an extra pair of hands. Again, thank goodness for the Milwaukee Packout, which was my prop to hold the door. I could have gone in and got my wife, but she was busy doing some stuff. And anyway, made it happen. Recommend 2 people though. And I would tell you, I think on a scale of, I don't know, 1 to 5, this is probably about a 3. If I had to do another one right now, I could go far quicker, and I definitely would use another person. So looking forward to this product. There's all kinds of attachments you can put on here. You can put some bars that come out and blocks on here. You can put a platform and bikes this way, or you can do bikes this way, axe, whatever, paddles, a whole host of things. So this will be fun to figure out, you know, what I strap on here to use for those excursions that are coming once this van gets done. Again, hope you enjoyed being with me. Please hit that like button, please subscribe. Don't forget to check that bell, because another video will come up soon that you can tune back in on, that either will interest you, amuse you, or maybe help you with your van build. Anyway, have fun, be good. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.